The entire story unfolds in one go. Ran Review reminds you to connect to Wi-Fi. Get comfortable. The exciting story begins now. On the third day after our divorce, my ex-wife stood at my doorstep with her luggage, pitifully standing at my door. "Husband, I've gone bankrupt. Please take me in for the sake of our past relationship." I temporarily took her in. But what's with her getting all touchy-feely? At 25, others are in sweet relationships, while one at 25 have already become a divorced man. I didn't dare tell my parents, afraid they would break my legs in anger. I was racking my brain for a reasonable excuse to tell them. When the doorbell rang, I nervously went to open the door, afraid my parents had heard something and come to punish me. But when I opened the door, it was my ex-wife standing outside. She looked haggard. Her clothes were wrinkled, her skirt stained with coffee. Her once perfectly styled hair was now a mess. The aura of the domineering female CEO was gone. Yes, my ex-wife wasn't just anyone. She was the CEO of a listed company, worth billions. I asked, "Were you robbed?" Otherwise, given her level of cleanliness, how could she tolerate being so disheveled? Liu Ruyan smiled awkwardly. "I went bankrupt. Can you take me in for a while?" 10 minutes later, Liu Ruyan was sitting at the dining table, devouring noodles. Judging by the speed she was eating, it was obvious she hadn't eaten properly for days. "Really, you're bankrupt?" I didn't see any news about it. I carefully sat across from her, trying not to hurt her already fragile heart. "Are you really bankrupt? What about your villas, sports cars, yachts, and so on?" She put down her chopsticks and sighed deeply. "All mortgaged." She smiled bitterly, taking out an empty wallet. "I don't have a penny to my name now. If you don't take me in, I'll probably end up competing with the homeless under the bridge." She looked at me again. "You'll take me in for the sake of our past relationship, right?" I hesitated. Who gets divorced and then has their ex-wife come back asking for help? This doesn't fit any divorce pattern. Logically, we should never see each other again. Liu Ruyan and I didn't marry for love, nor did we divorce because of infidelity. We were paired by her grandmother. I was her grandmother's private nurse, taking care of all her needs, dutifully caring for her. Her last wish was for her beloved granddaughter to marry me. It's a ridiculous story. Her mom opened the door to absurdity, and it flooded in. Because Liu Ruyan didn't even resist, she agreed right away. Although we had no physical intimacy after marriage, she treated me incredibly well. Whatever was good to eat, drink, or play with, she never forgot me. So thinking about this, I softened. "All right," I nodded. "You can stay here for now." Liu Ruyan had been looking at me with hopeful eyes. Hearing my words, her eyes brightened. "Thank you so much." But there was a problem with sleeping arrangements. The apartment I rented was a one-bedroom, plenty of space for one person, but with an extra person. I looked at Liu Ruyan, troubled. I didn't want to sleep on the floor, nor did I want to sleep on the couch. I was used to my bed, but I couldn't let a dignified CEO sleep on the floor. Even though she was now bankrupt, she was used to a life of luxury. How could she endure such hardship? I looked at the 2-meter wide bed in the room. Liu Ruyan seemed to notice my dilemma. She took the initiative to grab a pillow and went to the couch. Not bad, quite considerate. That night, I lay in bed browsing the news. I came across a piece of news about Lin Sheng Group. I clicked on it immediately. 10 minutes later, I got out of bed, put on a jacket, and went to the living room to find Liu Ruyan. Sighing inwardly, she really was bankrupt. How tragic and pitiful. Not only was the company declared bankrupt, but all her personal assets were mortgaged. She was probably pelted with coffee and rotten eggs by disgruntled employees. When she came in earlier, there was a strange smell on her. She had it rough, and I let her sleep on the couch. How could I still call myself human? The living room lights were off, but the curtains were open. Moonlight spilled in. She stood on the balcony, gazing at the night sky. Her silhouette was lonely and desolate. She had fallen from the pedestal to hell in one fell swoop. The disparity. Anyone with slightly weaker mental strength would be standing on the rooftop pondering life by now. My habit of feeling sorry for others kicked in again. I began. Liu Ruyan turned around. She had already taken a shower. Her long, black hair draped over her chest. A few strands of bangs fell on her forehead. Her deep black eyes were like dark stars, impossible to see through. I looked down. She was wearing a V-neck silk pajama top, revealing her beautiful, delicate collarbones and her flushed skin. Don't look at what's inappropriate. I tilted my head up. My eyes darted around. It's a bit cold tonight. I thought for a moment. The sofa is too hard. You could catch a cold sleeping there. How about we squeeze in together? She hesitated, uncertain. You mean we sleep together? What do you mean by sleep together? Don't misinterpret my words, okay? My ears turned a little red. I was extremely nervous. My tongue felt tied. We sleep in the same bed, under the same blanket, just talking, nothing else. Don't misunderstand. After saying that, I wanted to slap my own mouth. What am I even saying? I heard a soft laugh. When I looked up, Liu Ruyan had returned to her serious demeanor. She nodded. Well then, I'll accept your offer. She took her pillow and walked past me, her steps light and cheerful. I scratched my head. Something felt off. But Liu Ruyan's mood quickly changed. She stared at the long body pillow dividing the bed. Her mouth twitched. Kong, what is this? I cleared my throat. I tend to be a bit restless when I sleep. Afraid I might kick you at night. So I put a barrier. After saying that, my eyes darted around. It wasn't that I was afraid of being restless and kicking her at night. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to control myself and end up taking advantage of her. I have many qualities, but self-control isn't one of them. She smiled and removed the body pillow. Her almond-shaped eyes narrowed slightly. She leaned closer to me. Kong, are you afraid of kicking me? Or are you afraid I'll take advantage of you? I leaned back, my throat dry. Are you that kind of person? She chuckled softly. You trust me that much? Of course I do. Otherwise, after being married for so long, she never got intimate with me. Clearly, she had no interest in me. But I was interested in her. If I hadn't heard that her first love was coming back from abroad, I feared she might act impulsively and leave me. So I decided to strike first. Be the strong one in the relationship. So I filed for divorce. When I brought up the divorce, she said nothing and agreed the next day. Thinking back, our marriage was rushed. And our divorce even more so. The civil affairs office workers must have had a hard time with us. Let's sleep, I said, hugging the body pillow and turning over. Quickly closing my eyes, pretending to sleep. Pretending until I actually fell asleep. In the middle of the night, I woke up needing to use the bathroom. When I woke up, I found that the body pillow in my arms had been replaced by Liu Ruyan. I was holding her tightly in my arms. The scent of the woman enveloped me completely. He faced me, sleeping soundly with even breaths and closed eyes. The nightlight was still on, so I could clearly see his thick, long eyelashes. My hand twitched with curiosity. I couldn't control myself, gently brushing his eyelashes. He stirred slightly. I quickly pulled back my hand, and then slowly withdrew my foot. Just as I was about to move his hand off my waist, he opened his eyes. Our eyes met. I felt like my toes could dig a hole to the Potala Palace. We stared at each other for a full 5 minutes. I finally found an excuse. Sorry, I didn't sleep well. Did I disturb you? I quickly tried to get up. He grabbed my wrist with his warm hand, sending electric shocks through my body, making me feel numb all over. I was as stiff as a robot. Liu Ruyan, seeing I wasn't moving, looked puzzled. He got up and came to my side, frowning slightly. Are you okay? The next morning, when I woke up, Liu Ruyan was no longer in bed, thinking of what happened last night. I felt my embarrassment reaching outer space. Getting up too quickly, I got a cramp in my leg. Couldn't even stand steadily, and I urgently needed to use the bathroom, about to wet myself. Without a word, Liu Ruyan helped me to the bathroom. Having someone care for me felt wonderful. If only it weren't in such an embarrassing situation, it would have been perfect. The door was gently knocked on. Liu Ruyan's pleasant voice rang out, "Kikyang, are you awake? If you are, come out for breakfast." I softly replied, "Okay. I'll be right out after I freshen up." Seeing the lavish breakfast on the table, I was stunned. "Did you make all this?" "No, I only made the eggs. The rest is takeout," he said, taking out the egg with chili pepper. Smiling sheepishly. "They're burnt, so don't eat them." I felt relieved. If a businesswoman could also cook well, it would defy all reason. Those perfect characters in novels are lies. A woman with flaws is real. "So where did you get the money to buy breakfast?" He pondered. "I sold my bag." How pitiful. A once proud woman reduced to selling her bag for breakfast. I didn't know how to comfort him. While eating breakfast, I casually asked, "By the way, how much did your bag cost?" He casually replied, "Not much. Just over 100,000. My donut fell into the soy milk, splattering it everywhere. 100,000? Are you kidding me?" Liu Ruyan didn't notice my darkened expression, still looking worried. "Don't worry, I won't freeload. I can get a job." I resisted the urge to flip the table. What job would you even get? All my savings combined aren't worth as much as your bag. Of course, rich people, even when broke, are better off than me. I truly don't know what to say. Would the job be in a vault? While I was puzzling over the 120,000, Liu Ruyan sighed deeply. "When we divorced, I offered to split the assets with you, but you refused." Why did I refuse? I must have been out of my mind. Maybe I felt unworthy of it. So when we divorced, I chose to leave with nothing. Nothing at all. Not even a toothpick from their house. It's okay. Isn't money just an external thing? Earn more and you'll have it again. I believe in your intelligence. You can definitely rise again. My habit of feeling sorry for others kicked in again. He was touched. Then, the next second, I heard a ding from my phone. An Alipay notification for 150,000. I was baffled. "You're going to eat and drink at my place, costing money. Is this enough?" I widened my eyes. "More than enough. It could stuff you to death." And so, just like that, Liu Ruyan moved into my place. After breakfast, he took a phone call and left. I asked him, "You're not really going out to work, are you?" From a high-ranking executive who just needed to move his fingers to sign contracts and documents commanding respect, to being ordered around outside. It's a sad thought. Even with over 100,000 in hand, he still worked so hard? "Are you worried about me?" When I asked that, he had his hand on the door handle, his eyes sparkling. I shook my head. "Not worried." His eyes dimmed a bit. He quickly regained his composure, then smiled. "I'm leaving now. Don't bother making lunch for me. But can I have your sweet and sour ribs for dinner?" Liu Ruyan's grandmother loved my sweet and sour ribs when she was alive. Liu Ruyan visited her often, so he always managed to get a few pieces. I nodded, "Sure." Internally, I was screaming like a gopher, "Of course you can. You left 150,000 for food expenses, not just sweet and sour ribs. I could get you black gold abalone and wagyu beef. But we need to spend wisely." Actually, I considered secretly following Liu Ruyan to see what hardships he was enduring. But I was afraid he'd feel awkward, so I restrained myself. Just as well I had the day off. After breakfast, I went to the market to buy groceries. I had become familiar with the market vendors. The butcher saw me picking meat and joked, "Getting something nutritious for your lady?" I paused. then nodded yes. Hard work needs good nutrition. I tacitly acknowledged that Liu Ruyan was my woman, smiling slightly and carefully selecting the meat. As I was carrying the bags home, Yifan called. Qiangzi, the class monitor, organized a reunion. That show-off Jibo is coming, and he's bringing some rich girlfriend. What's he showing off for? Your woman is a real deal CEO, Kikyong. Show your courage and give him a good slap in the face. I was silent. Yifan, maybe I can't. He insisted, why not? Why? I covered my face. Because I'm divorced, and the CEO is bankrupt. In the evening, I made a table full of delicious dishes. Liu Ruyan returned. Seeing the full table, he generously praised my cooking skills. I responded, isn't it a waste that I'm not a chef? He laughed, with my bowl in your hand, I can love a chef. The atmosphere instantly became quiet. Since we got married, our relationship could be described as respectful, but distant. There was no physical contact. Not even sweet words were exchanged. Now that we're divorced, he's suddenly uninhibited. I played dumb, you should eat more. After dinner, Liu Ruyan volunteered to wash the dishes. I was going to stop him, but then thought, if I'm too cautious, would he overthink it? Thank you then. I smiled, but after 10 minutes, I couldn't smile anymore. My newly bought set of dishes, sacrificed to Liu Ruyan's clumsiness. Looking at the shattered pieces on the floor, Liu Ruyan smiled awkwardly. It's okay, I'll replace them. No, it's fine. Just a set of dishes. We squatted down together to pick up the fragments, but misjudging the distance. With a loud thud, our foreheads collided hard. I lost my balance, falling flat on my back, legs twitching twice. Embarrassment reached its peak. Are you okay? Liu Ruyan came to help me up. I'm fine, though I'm seeing stars right now. He extended his hand to me, gently rubbing my forehead. His movements were careful. Up close, his eyelashes were long and thick. His dark eyes were like the bright moon in the sky, reflecting my image within them. We were just inches apart. I could feel his breath. Are you really okay? Your face is a bit red. He asked that single quotes S because there was a bit of red wine in the beef earlier. So I got tipsy. It wasn't the wine that made me tipsy. It was Liu Ruyan. Liu Ruyan smiled slightly, looking at me intently. Really? Then why am I fine? He was teasing, not satisfied until he saw through my lie. What kind of person is this? After we finished cleaning the kitchen, I prepared some fruit for dessert. Liu Ruyan stepped out to take a call. I couldn't understand why he had to go outside to take a call, making it all mysterious. Could it be his first love calling? The thought slowed my apple slicing, and a wave of discomfort surged within me. Imagining a scene of Liu Ruyan reuniting with his first love, tears soaking his clothes. So engrossed was I that I didn't notice Liu Ruyan approaching. He called my name, startling me, causing me to cut my hand. Seeing me bleed, Liu Ruyan's expression changed, his face darkening as if he had been constipated for days. He grabbed my finger. How could you be so careless? It's not carelessness. It's you scaring me, okay? But is he really worried about me? 10 minutes later, I looked at my finger wrapped like a radish. I couldn't help but smile wryly. You wrapped it ... He looked up, quietly watching me. Quite unique. I finished applauding him. He gently patted the back of my hand. His face was full of affection. Don't let it get wet for a few days. I'll take care of everything. You just rest well. It's just a small cut on my finger. Why are you treating me like I'm disabled? It's really nothing. Just a little cut. It'll heal by tomorrow. I remembered a joke about a celebrity who hurt their finger and went to the hospital. The doctor was shocked. If you came any later, the wound would have healed by itself. I laughed foolishly after telling the joke. After laughing, I noticed he was staring at me. his eyes like they were coated with pounds of malt sugar, sticky and sweet. My laughter stopped abruptly. At that moment, I was internally screaming like a gopher. Why did I tell such a pointless joke? Even though Liu Ruyan is now a fallen boss, he still has his elegance and taste. I lowered my eyes, apologizing weakly. Sorry. That was a pointless joke. It wasn't funny, especially coming from you. But I love hearing it. When I took care of Grandma Liu, she especially loved hearing jokes. I often scoured the internet for the latest jokes to tell her. Sometimes, when Liu Ruyan came to see his grandma, he would quietly stand at the doorway, unnoticed. Often, when Grandma Liu and I were laughing heartily, I'd turn around and see him smiling with his eyes. I'd then stop laughing and sit up straight. "Miss Liu," he'd say, gently waving his hand as he walked in. "Dear granddaughter, you're here." When Grandma Liu saw Liu Ruyan, her aged face would light up with a joyful smile. Thinking they had things to discuss, I'd prepare to leave. But Liu Ruyan would stop me. "There's no outsider here. You don't need to leave." Hearing this, Grandma Liu would look at us meaningfully. I felt a bit embarrassed. What did he mean by no outsider? After Grandma Liu fell asleep, I'd escort Liu Ruyan out. This is the best nursing home in the city, a place only the truly wealthy can afford to stay. Liu Ruyan was busy with work, having no time to take care of Grandma Liu. So he hired professional caregivers to come to their home. But Grandma Liu felt lonely, so she chose this place. Here, there are professional therapists, physiotherapists, and psychological counselors. Most importantly, Grandma Liu had companions to chat with, though most of the time, it was me talking with her. The nursing home was located on a hill, with fresh air, lush greenery, and the fragrance of flowers mingling with birdsong. Even walking along the path, taking a deep breath, one could feel their soul being cleansed. Walking shoulder to shoulder with Liu Ruyan on the green-shaded path, we fell silent for a moment. Liu Ruyan said, "Please take care of Grandma." I looked up and met his cool gaze. Feeling a flutter in my heart, I hurriedly averted my eyes. With a thud, he said, "You're very nervous." I quickly shook my head. "I'm not nervous." Lies, I didn't know why. But seeing him made my heart race, my throat dry, and I couldn't speak properly. Maybe his aura was too overpowering. A small fry dared not act up in his presence. "Really?" he asked, with a soft laugh. "It's good if you're not nervous." This wasn't the first time I'd seen him smile, but against the backdrop of green shade, blue sky, and white clouds, that smile seemed to enchant, striking deep into my heart. Yi Fan called again, insisting I bring a woman to the reunion to show off, or he'd come after me with a 40-meter-long knife. Reluctantly, I turned to Liu Ruyan for help. After hearing my request, he sat on the sofa, lightly tapping the coffee table with his left index finger. "A class reunion?" I nodded, a bit embarrassed. "If it's too much trouble for you, it's okay not to." We spoke at the same time. Seeing him agree, I immediately shut up. He smirked. "This small favor isn't too much for me to help with. Besides, I'm eating your food and living in your place. I should contribute a bit. Don't you think? You're eating my food and living in my place, but you've already paid me a full 150,000. Liu Ruyan looked troubled. "But I'm bankrupt now. I don't even have a decent outfit." "I'll buy it." I raised my hand. "No time like the present. Let's go now, now." Liu Ruyan, true to his business acumen, acted swiftly and decisively, pulling me downstairs. Seeing the Maybach parked at the entrance, I was dumbfounded. Liu Ruyan opened the car door, turning back to say, "I rented it. We're going to discuss business. Without a good car for appearances, people won't even look at you. Is that so?" I felt a pang of sympathy for Liu Ruyan. He was once so high-spirited. Now he had to endure such compromises to rise again. "I'm sorry, I can't help you much. At this moment, I felt quite powerless. If only I had some abilities, I could help him. He was stunned for a moment. Then his eyes softened like the gentle hues of early spring in March, tender and enchanting. Fool, he called me, making my heart race and my breath quicken. We arrived at the mall. Liu Ruyan confidently entered a high-end custom dress shop. While he was changing, I sneaked a glance at the price tags. Immediately my heart raced and my blood pressure shot up. The salesgirl brought coffee, sneaking a delighted glance at me. Please wait a moment. We have magazines here. You can take a look. If you need anything, just call me. I mumbled a guilty okay. While drinking coffee, I pondered. My savings should be enough to buy the cheapest suit, but afterward I'd be broke. Just the thought made my heart ache. Why are a few pieces of cloth so expensive? I couldn't figure it out. As I was lost in thought, Liu Ruyan came out. Even the professionally trained salesgirl couldn't hide her excitement. I was already stunned, staring at her blankly. Liu Ruyan's graceful figure, combined with her unique aura, regardless of her status, she always stood out in a crowd, even in her downfall. As she walked towards me, I felt my breathing intensify and my heart race. She approached, seeing my dazed expression. She was puzzled. What's wrong? Nothing. I took a deep breath, patting my face. It's a bit hot in here. Hot. Liu Ruyan raised an eyebrow. The air conditioning is on full blast here. Please don't expose me, okay? I still have some dignity. Thankfully, Liu Ruyan let it go, asking, how's this outfit? It's beautiful. Just the price is a bit ugly. Beautiful, you look good in anything. I spoke honestly. You sure know how to talk. Since Liu Ruyan decided, I had to muster the courage to pay the bill. But Liu Ruyan declined. She smiled. I had topped up some money here before. It's not spent yet. No need to touch your funds. The salesgirl checked the account. Miss, this dress costs $87,000. After deduction, your account still has $680,000. Would you like to top up more? I nearly dropped my coffee. $680,000. No need to recharge for now. Liu Ruyan said. Remember you have a flagship men's store? Yes, Miss Liu. The salesgirl smiled. Liu Ruyan tilted her chin up. Pick something nice for her. While I was changing, I found the fit was a bit off. Instinctively, I called the salesgirl. Could you help me change to a larger size? Thanks. At that moment, someone gently pushed open the fitting room door, but didn't say a word. I turned to say thanks, and ended up nose to nose with Liu Ruyan. Our noses almost touched. Just a tiny bit more and we'd have kissed. I jumped back like a startled monkey. Why is it you? They had something to do. I looked at him suspiciously. This is a brand store. The customer is king. When a customer changes clothes, the salesgirl should be waiting outside, not leaving for any reason. It must have been Liu Ruyan who sent them away. Liu Ruyan stared straight at me, his eyes filled with undisguised amazement and appreciation. Not good? Good. He seemed to come to his senses, nodding lightly. Very handsome. Don't just flatter me. Stop comforting me. My mom says I have a 5'5" figure. Nothing looks good on me. That's not a 5'5" figure. That's balanced proportions. A perfect man can pull off any outfit. See, someone who knows how to talk is different. I felt comforted, but after checking the price of the clothes, I hesitated again. Forget it. Too expensive. The salesgirl wouldn't miss this chance to make a sale. How can buying clothes for your husband be considered expensive? Right, Miss Liu. I protested. I'm not. Liu Ruyan didn't give me a chance to argue. She went straight to pay the bill. After returning from the mall, Yi Fan called. Kikyang, are you ready? Tomorrow night at 7. At the Caesar Grand Hotel. I glanced at Liu Ruyan heading to the bathroom. Feeling drained, I said, For the sake of so-called face, we really went all out today, covering the phone. I whispered, Liu Ruyan is bankrupt now, yet he still goes all out for my sake. I don't even know how to repay him. Just clean yourself up and lie on the bed. Have you forgotten we're divorced? Divorced, but you can still remarry, right? You're living together already. Opportunities arise from proximity. Even rabbits eat the grass by their burrow, Yi Fan said brazenly. What nonsense are you spouting? I'm done, Liu Ruyan said. The hot water is ready for you. Liu Ruyan came out, drying his hair. I glanced at him, feeling a rush of heat. Why was he only wrapped in a towel? He seemed to notice my reaction. Clearing his throat, I forgot to bring in my pajamas. Sorry, it's fine. I covered my eyes, but couldn't help peeking through my fingers. Go on, the water will get cold. Liu Ruyan didn't call me out, confidently showing off his graceful figure while bathing. I thought about Yi Fan's words. Over these days, I realized my feelings for Liu Ruyan. I liked him and couldn't let him go. I just worried about his first love returning. I feared being abandoned by him. I didn't want to lose my sense of control. Even if I had to leave, I wanted to do so with grace. But I realized loving someone makes it impossible to be graceful. If only Liu Ruyan didn't have a first love. Just after I finished my bath, suddenly there was a loud snap and the power went out. I hadn't even put on my clothes yet. Liu Ruyan's voice came from the bathroom door. The power's out. Are you okay? I'm fine, I said, scrambling to cover myself. But then I thought, I'm a grown man. What am I afraid of? Besides, there's no way Liu Ruyan would suddenly burst in, even if he did. It's pitch black now. What could he see? I sighed in relief, getting ready to dress. But then I slipped, falling flat on my back. With a thud, I was sprawled out on the floor. Hearing the noise, Liu Ruyan's voice turned anxious. Kikyong, what happened? I took a while to respond. I fell. The door opened. And in the darkness, Liu Ruyan's voice reached me. Kikyong, are you okay? Where did you get hurt? My butt and waist hurt a lot. I gasped in pain. Liu Ruyan draped a bathrobe over me. Even in the darkness, his scent enveloped me. We used the same body wash. It felt quite intimate. Accidentally, his fingers brushed my chest. I shivered. He kissed my forehead, apologizing. Sorry. Soon the ambulance arrived. The professionals lifted me onto the stretcher. Liu Ruyan stayed by my side. Liu Ruyan, do you think I'll be paralyzed? With that fall, I felt numb from the waist down. The thought of being confined to a wheelchair, becoming a disabled person unable to care for myself, made my nose sting. Am I going to be crippled? Unable to walk? What will I do in the future? Liu Ruyan held my hand, gently saying, don't worry. You'll be fine. Even if there's a problem, I'll take care of you. Are you serious? When have I ever broken my word? I thought about it seriously, but then pulled my hand away. Better not. I don't want to burden you. The paramedic beside us couldn't help but interject. Young man, don't worry. You'll be fine. After a series of examinations, the doctor said I was mostly okay. I sighed in relief. No need for a wheelchair. Are you still going to the reunion tomorrow? Liu Ruyan still seemed worried. How about canceling? Let's go. I'm fine. If I don't go, Yi Fan will kill me. He always means what he says. Liu Ruyan nodded. All right. I'll make sure you're respected tomorrow. The next day, Liu Ruyan had some matters to attend to, so I was being pestered by Yi Fan to go early. I went ahead, since taking a cab there was convenient. As soon as I arrived at the hotel, a sarcastic voice greeted me. Isn't this Kikyong? Your outfit looks pretty good today, but for you to wear it. Yi Fan glared at him angrily. What's the matter? Jibo's lips curled, laughing mockingly. Want to fight? Yi Fan was about to step forward and hit him, but I held him back. Don't argue with fools, I said. Yifan took a deep breath. But I still want to beat this fool up. I knew Yifan was standing up for me. We were high school classmates with Jibo. Jibo, with a bit of family money, always found ways to bully the weak. I couldn't stand it, so I spoke up for others. Since then, his target changed to me. If it weren't for Yifan, a Taekwondo black belt, protecting me, my high school years would have been unbearable. Thinking about the past, I felt a mix of sadness and anger, but what could I do? Wow, whose black car is that? So cool, we turned to look. A sleek black sports car slowly approached us. Yifan got excited. No way, isn't this the car I showed you the other day? The only one in the world? I'm seeing it in person. I wonder who owns it. As soon as he finished speaking, the car stopped, the door opened, and a slender figure stepped out. Yifan and I were both dumbfounded, because it was none other than Liu Ruyan. She walked straight to me, smiling gently. Class reunion. Am I late? There were gasps all around, especially from Jibo, whose face turned sour. I pulled Liu Ruyan aside, whispering, "This is just a class reunion. Where did you get this car? If it's not a replica, there's only one like this in the world. Today, you're just responsible for eating and drinking. You don't need to worry about anything else." He gently hooked his arm around mine. During the meal, I felt uneasy because Jiboda kept targeting Liu Ruyan. Liu Ruyan was previously famous and knew a up-and-coming figure. Everyone knew that. But everyone also knew about his bankruptcy. Jiboda, always sharp-tongued, knew about Liu Ruyan's downfall and kept dissing him. He made sarcastic comments at the table. "Oh, isn't this Liu, the CEO of Linsheng Group?" "No, wait, Linsheng Group is bankrupt now, so we shouldn't call you CEO anymore." Before I could react, Yifan couldn't hold back. "Jiboda, if you don't need your mouth, you could donate it to someone who does. Who would want a mouth that's been eating shit?" I silently applauded in my heart. "Well said," Jiboda snorted coldly. "Birds of a feather flock together. Sitting with you lowers my class." I couldn't hold back any longer. Class isn't measured by wearing expensive clothes or carrying a watch worth tens of thousands. A person like you who doesn't respect others, we wouldn't deign to share a table with you. With that, I grabbed Yifan with my left hand and Liu Ruyan with my right, preparing to leave. It was my mistake. I shouldn't have come to this reunion, making Liu Ruyan endure this humiliation with me. "What did you say?" Jiboda, not used to being insulted, instinctively grabbed a bottle from the table and hurled it at me. The expected pain didn't come. I opened my eyes to see Liu Ruyan standing in front of me, shielding me, his beautiful face, cold as snow, gazed icily at Jibo. "Damn, you dared to hurt someone?" Yifan reacted, furious, rolling up his sleeves. "If I don't beat you until you're crying for your mother, I'm not a man." I quickly went to stop Yifan. If they really thought, with Jibo's ability to twist the truth, my brother would definitely be in trouble. Not to mention he has a powerful father. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so arrogant. "What are you doing?" A familiar voice came. We all turned to look. It was an incredibly glamorous woman. I'd seen her on TV. She seemed to be some rich heiress. "Darling, they're bullying me." Jibo put on a pitiful look, walking over to hold her hand, smugly looking at us. Just the three of them. Who's bullying whom? Yifan was indignant. The woman's face changed upon seeing Liu Ruyan. Liu. Liu Ruyan glanced at her coldly. "Control your boyfriend." The woman hesitated and nodded. "Good." Liu Ruyan smirked coldly. "Mr. G, expect a lawyer's letter. As for you, we need to reconsider our partnership." With that, Liu Ruyan stepped up to Jibo and unexpectedly slapped him across the face. The room fell silent. Yi Fan gasped. I was also stunned. Liu Ruyan is usually very measured, never one to slap someone so directly. But today, Jibo held his face in disbelief. You actually hit me. Liu Ruyan took out a tissue to wipe his hands, his gaze sharp as he looked at Jibo. I never hit people, but today I made an exception. The way you bullied me back then. Kikyung will experience it in return. Yi Fan raised his arm in triumph. Miss Liu is so mighty and domineering. Liu Ruyan gave him a friendly smile, then walked up to me, taking my hand and smiling indulgently. The food here is terrible. Let's go somewhere else. I dumbly let him lead me away. The woman who had been watching the whole scene finally reacted, chasing after us. Mr. Liu Ruyan turned to her with a mocking smile. Take one more step and face the consequences. Once in the car, I slowly started to realize, why did she call you Mr. Liu? Aren't you bankrupt? But the woman had treated him with such respect, not at all like someone dealing with a bankrupt man. Liu Ruyan quietly looked at me, taking a deep breath, and then sighed heavily. Kikyang, actually, there's something I've been hiding from you. I was afraid you'd be angry, so I never dared to tell you. What is it? I am indeed bankrupt, but I'm also the heir of the Liu family. I was completely baffled. He continued, I started my own business early on, built my own company, and finally made it big. But my father wasn't satisfied. He believed I had to return home to inherit the family business. So he secretly took measures to ruin my company and forced me to come back. Kikyang, I didn't want to hide this from you, but you insisted on divorcing me. I didn't know how to make you understand my feelings. So just now, I got back at Jibo for the old times. I'm sorry if you're angry. You can hit me or scold me. I gritted my teeth. I hate being lied to the most. He froze, panic flashing in his eyes. I'm sorry, Kikyang, but you avenged me just now. That felt so good, we're even. Liu Ruyan sighed in relief. You have no idea. I've wanted to slap him for so long. Thank you for giving him that slap for me. My years of resentment have finally disappeared. Liu Ruyan extended a finger, drawing circles on my chest. So my husband holds grudges like this. Looks like I'll have to be more careful in the future. Can't afford to offend you. I finally reacted, my ears turning slightly red. Who's your husband? I'm your ex-husband. And don't you have a first love? Who's coming back from abroad? First love, Liu Ruyan's brows furrowed slightly. Where did that come from? My first love is you. Liu Ruyan lowered his head, lightly coughing. I mean, seeing my stunned expression, he sighed. I really don't have a first love. I don't know what you've imagined, but you're the first man I've ever had feelings for. That man is you. I swallowed hard. You fell in love with me at first sight? When? That time I went to see Grandma and saw you smiling with your gums showing. As he said this, Liu Ruyan took a box out of his handbag, opening it to reveal a pair of rings. His eyes were sincere. Kikyang, will you marry me again? I hesitated, but we're not a good match. Before, I agreed because of your grandmother's wish. Don't you want to fulfill my wish now? Liu Ruyan's eyes burned with intensity. Looking at me, I couldn't say anything, because he silenced me with a kiss. He slowly pulled back, his eyes soft. If you don't agree, I'll have to grow old alone. Isn't that too harsh? Liu Ruyan knew how to retreat to advance. Alright, I won't pressure you. Let me know when you've made up your mind. Three beautiful women didn't help me think clearly. So why are they in my bed in the middle of the night? Liu Ruyan looked innocent. There was a cockroach. I grabbed his slipper and walked to the living room, where Liu Ruyan covered his forehead. I won't do anything to you. At most, we'll put pillows between us. I trust you, I said sarcastically. But the next moment, a big cockroach came swaggering out. I killed it with one strike of my slipper. Liu Ruyan looked at me, see? I wasn't lying. That night, I shared a bed with Liu Ruyan, with a long bolster pillow between us. Good night, Liu Ruyan said, looking at me. Sweet dreams. His eyes were almost twinkling with affection. I quickly covered myself with the blanket, turned over and said, good night. The next morning when I woke up, I found myself in the same position as last time, holding Liu Ruyan tightly in my arms. Startled, I jumped back. Liu Ruyan looked at me innocently. You've hugged me. Shouldn't you take responsibility? Seriously, I thought, realizing his trickery. 6 months later, Liu Ruyan and I got married. I thought Liu Ruyan's parents wouldn't accept me, but to my surprise, they adored me. Liu Ruyan also agreed to return and inherit the family business, because he said he needed to earn money for his husband. That night after returning home, I told him, you don't need to sacrifice for me. If you don't want to go back, I can live frugally. I'll work hard to support us, but I'm afraid you'll reduce your all intake, I teased. Idiot, he gently touched my face and kissed my lips. I'm happy to do it. A year later, Liu Ruyan gave birth to twins, a boy and a girl. The whole family was overjoyed. Liu Ruyan held my hand. Husband, thank you for being by my side. I tightened my grip on his hand. The one who should be thanking is me. By the way, have you seen the kids? I was taken aback for a moment. I forgot that after the kids' 1-month celebration, Liu Ruyan and I went to a small island to relax, but I video called the kids every day. Finally, Liu Ruyan got angry, looking aggrieved. Husband, who's more important, me or the kids? I broke into a sweat. Are you jealous of the kids? I cupped his face. You're both important. You're both my most beloved people. For you in this life and beyond. I want to say too, the first time I saw you, I was captivated. I've even thought of a name for my child.